Ms. Littlewood, Ms. Jennings, comments or questions? All in favor? The vote is unanimous. And now we'll stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And now we'll move on to GC Pride Awards.
Okay, thank you. The Student Support Service Department's GC Pride Award tonight goes to Nancy DePonzio. Nancy, do you want to come up? So Nancy is the social worker at Walt Disney Elementary, and she has been such a valuable member addition to that team and to our whole Student Support Services team. She goes above and beyond to bring outside supports to students and families. She works hard every day. She has a positive attitude. She takes on extra assignments like revamping our social history form and joining our Support to Success grant in order to get housing and other supports to families in need. So she's a pleasure to work with, and I'm just so proud to give this to Nancy.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Good evening. And the Student Support Services Department would also like to nominate Aubriana Beddings. I'm very happy to nominate her. Aubriana is one of our fifth graders at Paul Road. And I have nominated her because for the years she has been with us, Aubriana is a fantastic friend to all of her friends at Paul Road. She made a lot of friends at summer school this year, was always helpful, good student who works really hard. So I am happy to nominate Aubriana. Congratulations, Aubriana. She's gonna stay seated, she hurt her foot.
Congratulations, Aubriana. Thank you, and again, congratulations to our GC Pride Award winners. Next, we move on to agenda changes.
We had some updates to personnel.
Awesome, thank you so much. And now we have Board Vice President comments. So we'd like to welcome everyone to our board meeting this evening. We thank you for joining us. We'd like to first start by honoring Hispanic Heritage Month, and we celebrate all those that we recognize during this time. We'd like to also recognize that our JV volleyball team has been doing some good things despite how they feel. So we just like to give them a quick shout out, as well as we want to say congratulations on a successful open house to the high school. I attended, it was very well organized. Parents knew where to go. There were so many student helpers in the hallway to support parents in finding their way. So we just like to thank everyone for all their hard work to get this school year off to a great start, starting with our teachers, our students, administration. Thank you all very much. Any points of interest? No points of interest? All right. Any report of meetings? Where is Kendra? Oh, Ms. Urbanowski.
The impact on districts, and it was interesting to hear, what everybody else is doing. One of the big points that they talked about was the privacy agreements with a lot of these AI groups. That's what kind of stood out to me as, being something that we need to look into and just, be conscious of as we, use more AI in our classrooms. And that was basically all the discussion was about. But yeah, that's all.
Thank you for that. Any other points of interest or reported meetings? All right, any visitor comments? All right, and we'll move on to reports. Next, we have our Monroe to Orleans BOCES District Superintendent and Board President. Welcome.
I appreciate the time. I just want to let you know that you are the first component district that we're visiting this year, so you can put that feather in your cap that we came here first before we went anywhere else. I will just say AI, BOCES 2 is hosting the third AI Summit in early November for staff members that you may be interested in coming out and hearing from some folks who have been utilizing AI for a while. I'll turn over to Dennis for a moment, make sure that everybody knows the incredible Dennis.
Thank you, and thanks for having us here again. As always, I want to welcome everyone to our annual meeting, which is this year, April 15th, which is a great time for the kids. You see the kids do a lot at CTE and so forth. Everybody pitches right in. And also, if you have any questions or that I can help, give me a call anytime or an email, and I'm available, just like Tom, 24 hours.
That's right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dennis.
One of the, last year was the first year, obviously, as district superintendent that I did updates. This year, we have some incredible communications folks who put together the handout that I hopefully got passed around, just some data points of all things BOCES 2. This is specific for Gates Chili. And so just references, again, some of the numbers of students in programs. I think on the front is pretty interesting that out of the 27 CTE programs, Gates Chili student in 24 of those 27. And so as we go through the year, we can update these and continue to take a look. On the back side as well is just all the support services and the ones that Gates uses. But if you're ever looking for support in any other way, our job is to try to work with all our component districts to help you out in any possible way that we can. I will note that there's one in the very front, just a couple of updates. One is November 5th. That is our CTE Expo. And so we invite 9th and 10th graders in to take a look at CTE so they can start to get some ideas on jobs, careers, and training. And the other thing I'll mention is just a thank you. Xavier Williams is one of your students, and he is our board rep. So we're very excited to have him, and thank you for sharing him with us. He's incredible at CTE. You may know the president of New York State Skills USA and is our board rep. So thank you very much. I won't go over all of this. I'll ask one more piece is that component superintendents received an email that a week from tomorrow, so October 2nd, we're hosting an open house at Springdale Farms to really showcase the agricultural program. One is my understanding the agricultural program came really from a need that components talked about. It's a small program, so we're struggling on how we can continue building this. The focus, we invited all of our school board members and components, but we also invited every legislator and anybody connected to hopefully funds. So I'll be there with a basket. I won't ask any board members. I'll be looking for our legislators for funding for some work we have to do over there. But I will just share that as we look. I'm on a committee in New York State. There are 531 agricultural jobs that New York State is trying to fill, 531 job titles. Only one of those is farmer. And so now if you go into farms, it's all digital, it's all technology, the cows feed themselves, the lawn mows itself. So when you think about kids who really like technology but aren't sure how to put that into use, there's a huge boom in agriculture here in New York State. And whenever I thought of agriculture before I joined BOCES 2, I only thought of farmers. But there's a great skill set there. And so that's a program we're continuing to try to educate staff and students about and hopefully continue to grow. Thank you very much. I appreciate the time, Mr. Daly and the board. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Do we have any questions? Ms. Littlewood?
Oh, yeah. Thought I'd get out of here with no questions, but I'm happy to answer.
I just had a question.
Yeah.
What's the percentage of students with IEPs enrolled in CTE for Gates Chili?
I would have to verify, and I can get that information and send it over to Mr. Daly. So the percentage of students with IEPs who attend a CTE program. I can get that for you tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
You bet. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Littlewood. Any other questions before Dr. Putnam tries to run away? Thank you both again for joining us tonight. Next up, we have our capital project update.
Good evening, everyone. We're here for the monthly, well, I'm here. Kurt had the wrong time. Just kidding. Kurt was behind today, so he was not able to make it. We're here for the 2022 Capital Improvement Project Update, which was the Building Brighter Futures project. So our phase one, which is a reminder, was the district office, the high school fax and technology spaces, the middle school technology and middle school music spaces. Our last space is the middle school music. We're down to that one. In the last month, so in the month of September, DCI has, who is our general contractor, installed the metal decking on the roof, and they've actually started to put up their foam insulation on that today. They've also completed the utility work in the surrounding parking lot, so the storm structures, as well as they started the interior masonry walls, as well as, since we put this presentation together, the metal stud walls. So this space is moving along nicely. The MEPs, the mechanical contractor, has installed the large air handler that will service this entire space in a mezzanine in this space, which you'll see a photo of later. And then our electrical contractor has started installing the conduit for all the lighting in this space. And then our plumbing, a small contract, but they are running their roof drains and some of their undergrounds. Phase two, some very exciting stuff. The baseball turf field, that is complete. We're doing our final inspection on Friday. The grading, topsoiling, and seeding around both fields is ongoing. It's about 50% complete. And then the sidewalk paving is ongoing as well. Over at Brasser, our general trades contractor, they completed the main office and nurse cabinetry and countertops. So at the start of school, that space was operational, and the students have used that. We have a couple of temporary conditions in there, as well as OTPT and the reading room, which are going to be changed out as we get those materials. What moved out of their old spaces, so the nurses and the main office, we've started demolition in that space, which is turning into offices for the staff members in that building, as well as we've started demolition of the art room in that space. Finally, our general contractor for phase two, they've put the roofs on the dugouts. We still need the metal roofs, but they framed up the roofs for all 4 dugouts. Our mechanical, electrical, and plumbing contractors, they also wrapped up the PT, the reading, and the faculty room, in addition to the main office and nurses. And then in the same areas that I mentioned with the general contractor, they have started their demolition and prepping for their new work. And then finally, the electrical contractor is continuing to pull wire and place conduit for our fields. In October, in the music space in the middle school, we're going to continue installing the walls, both masonry and metal stud, and then the mechanical, electrical, and plumbing contractors are going to keep moving along, starting to lay out their lights, starting to plan where the ductwork drops are going to go, and then there's some minor structural pieces to the roof that will happen as we tie everything together. Brasser, we're going to complete the punch list for the main office and nurse space, as well as the reading, OTP, and faculty, and then framing in the old nurses, the art room, and then the old main office for those new offices. Finally, at Brasser, the exterior fencing will be installed, which was between the new parent drop-off loop and the extended parking lot, and then the aesthetic panels and some minor brickwork will continue to happen. You'll see a photo later of the front of Florence Brasser. And then at the high school, shipping and receiving, received some mechanical improvements in phase two, and then conducting our punch list walkthroughs and completing that work. Middle school, completing the grass seeding, final fencing work, and the asphalt siding or sidewalk paving. Finally, at the last board meeting, we did approve the phase 3 contracts, which is the bathrooms that will service the middle school fields. So about the middle of October, we're going to start demolition of that space, and we're looking to turn this space over in the spring. So some site work, interior demolition, and then we're going to begin the underground plumbing work for those bathrooms. A reminder on the budget, we are about $20.5 million for phase 1. We're about 83% billed for that. Phase 2, $16 million, 74% billed, and the Phase 3 contracts that we awarded at the last meeting, just under 600,000, contingency of 1.6 million, and to date, we've spent 303,000 of our allowances of 570. Some photos inside the middle school music space, the area that was not essentially rebuilt. This is shoring for a new structural beam that will be in place of this wall that's being moved. This is the air handler that I had mentioned. This was piecemealed into that space as the roof was already on when it went in. This is a photo of the baseball field. This is a sort of central turf piece that as you're walking onto the fields, you'll see in a later photo, there has a big GC logo. So anyone that's entering the Spartan Park complex will walk past this. Here's a photo of the whole complex. If you recall, the last photo was just of the soccer field, or I'm sorry, of the softball field, and the baseball field is about close to double the size of the softball field. Another angle. And right in the middle there is that, I'm sorry, it's small, but the little GC turf logo. This is the front of Florence Brasser. The grass has already grown. The metal panels that I was talking about earlier will be what covers the plywood that you can see exposed. This is the new main office. Their mailroom and sort of small break area. This is the nurse's suite. This is a little bit older of a photo, but this does have countertops and the nurse is moved in. The exam room. The new faculty, or the existing faculty room, but with, that has been renovated. The OTPT room, they filled up that space very quickly. And this is the art room, some studying. There's going to be a lot of cabinets that go into the art room. That's what the red blocking is on the photo. And then where the old nurse's office was, the bathroom that was fed out of the nurse's office will now be fed out of the hallway, and that space will service some ELL and speech. And then the counseling suite, which was the old main office, will now be 4 offices for staff members in Florence Brasser. We just demoed the space, so unfortunately it's just an empty space right now, not a lot to see. Questions, comments?
No questions or comments? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Next up, we have our Student Support Services update.
Good evening, Vice President Richards, Superintendent Daly, and members of the Board of Education. Tonight, we want to give you an overview of the support services we provide the students and families across the district. I'll begin by introducing the team so you can see the people behind the work, and then we will provide a brief overview of related services that we offer and how they fit into the larger student support system. The reach of the Student Support Services Department is vast, and each year I attempt to highlight a different part of the department, and this evening is no exception. Tonight you'll hear from a variety of different people from our related services section of our department, our school counselors who provide academic planning and social emotional development, our school social workers who connect families with resources and provide direct support to students, our school psychologists who focus on evaluations, mental health, and intervention services. Will also highlight the work of our speech language pathologists, occupational therapists, and physical therapists who all play a crucial role in helping students access curriculum and succeed in school. And then finally, we're going to close by a discussion of why this matters. Not just for compliance, not just the services, but the way in which it directly impacts student outcomes, family engagement, and the overall learning environment engaged child life. So this agenda really is a roadmap of the people and the services that make student support services in our district what it is. Before we dive into the details of the services that we provide, I'd like to introduce the people who make the work possible. On this slide, you will see our team of administrators and clerical staff. These are the individuals who serve as the backbone of our department. Our administrators provide leadership, guidance, and oversight, and they ensure that the services that we provide are aligned to student needs, to district goals, and also to state requirements. Their responsibilities include coordinating programs, supporting staff, and keeping everything moving forward. Equally important, and even maybe more important, are our clerical support personnel. They are often the first point of contact for our families and staff. Their organizational skills, their attention to detail, and their daily management of communication and documentation allow our department to function smoothly. Together, this team ensures that students and families experience a system that is not only supportive, but also is responsive and it's efficient. As mentioned at our last meeting, the Office of Instruction has expanded leadership roles, which has positively impacted our existing structures within the Student Support Services Department. At the same time, the special education and our school counseling leadership structures have remained stable, providing continuity in these critical areas. Representing our school counseling department this evening, we have Carrie Sabito and Tracy Vander with us tonight. What's new is expanded leadership for other related services. They're highlighted in blue on the slide. And we have those leaders with us here as well this evening. For speech language pathology, the department leader, we have Renee Wazovich, who you'll hear from later. Caseworker, social worker department leader is Jill Gorski. School social worker department leader is Michelle Selfine, and occupational therapist and physical therapist department leader is Pam DeMarsico. This is an important step because it strengthens coordination across teams, it improves communication, and ensures services are aligned and responsive to student needs. These leadership roles also provide mentorship and professional development opportunities for related service providers, helping to refine and improve practices to better support our students. Ultimately, this expansion creates a more cohesive and efficient system, ensuring that all students receive consistent, high-quality support. And with that, I'm going to pass it over now to Dr. Woody and Angelina Pound to provide an overview of related services.
Good evening. Related service providers play an essential role in supporting student learning and well-being. They work closely with teachers, families, school administrators, and community partners to ensure that every student has the support they need to thrive. Their efforts include both prevention and intervention strategies, which help to address challenges before they become barriers, and stepping in with support when needed. The goal of every related service provider is to create equitable access to education for all students. That means meeting them where they are and helping them to succeed academically, socially, emotionally, and physically. From communication skills to emotional regulation, they're here to support the whole child.
Okay. Our related service providers promote independence, resilience, and functional skills. They strengthen that home-school connection through family engagement, which we know is so important. They connect students and families with community resources, and we just saw an example of Nancy DePonzio, who uses those resources all the time, as do all of our social workers, counselors, psychologists. They connect students and, I already said that, the community resources. They also support inclusion so students can fully participate. Now I'm going to hand it over to Tracy Vander, high school counselor, and Carrie Sabito, middle school counselor, to talk a little bit about our school counseling program.
Our school counseling programs align with the ASCA standards and New York Social Emotional Benchmark. The ASCA, I'm sure you all know, but American School Counseling Association. We deliver tiered academic, career, and social emotional support. We provide proactive classroom lessons and programming. And for some of those examples, we just switched to School Links for the middle school and high school to provide career and college lessons and guidance. We just finished our seniors. And then middle school does Upstanders once a month. They promote character and positive character and behavior. Elementary does Second Step and Aaron's Law as some of their classroom lessons.
Thanks, Tracy. Hi,
Hi, I'm Carrie Sabito, counselor at the middle school. Nice to see all of you this evening. In addition to what Tracy shared, school counselors offer short-term, solution-focused individual and group counseling. We meet individually with all students on our caseloads, and it's a highlight of our time at the schools. We partner with staff, families, and outside agencies in an effort to support our students. Some examples would be working with Delphi Rise and Genesee Mental Health. Why it matters. Counselors help students build resilience, plan for the future, and thrive in school and beyond. And now, Jill Gorski will speak about social work.
Good evening. Social workers provide social emotional support ensuring equitable access. As a Tier 1 support, social workers teach social emotional learning lessons, and as a Tier 2 and 3 support, social workers provide targeted group and individual counseling sessions. We connect families and community resources and services to address unmet needs. Our school social workers work very closely with our community school agency, the Center for Youth, to make sure that students and families get the support that they need both inside and outside of the classroom, striving to remove the barriers that often keep kids from being successful in school. Provide crisis intervention and ongoing support, collaborate to strengthen the homeschool connection, and work collaboratively to promote attendance and engagement by addressing root causes with supportive interventions. K-12, our social workers attend countless home visits every year, just really working to re-engage our families and work to improve our school attendance. On home visits, we work with the family to problem solve the barriers to attendance, which can often include caregiving responsibilities, parent work schedules, and housing instability. We work together to build a plan that makes consistent attendance possible and sustainable. Why it matters. Social workers ensure that outside challenges don't prevent students from learning and thriving. Next, I'll hand over to Michelle Selfine, who's here to talk about school psychologists.
Sorry. That'll work. There we go. Okay, well, good evening. School psychologists support mental health, learning, and behavior. We collaborate with staff to support academic, social, emotional, and behavioral needs of students in all tiers. Tier 1 supports for students who receive classroom supports from their classroom teachers, as well as Tier 2 supports from students who need a little extra help because they're struggling either academically or social, emotionally, or behaviorally. And then Tier 3 supports for students who need even more individualized instruction. And then beyond that, special education supports. School psychologists also provide counseling, assessment, and consultation to staff. We work with parents. And depending upon the building's needs, the school psychologist has a variety of roles. Different buildings have different needs. So we function in many different ways. If you talk to our different people in the department, you'd see that they do a variety of things. And finally, we advocate for equitable access to education. School psychologists promote academic success and safeguard emotional well-being to create safe, supportive environments. Next is Renee Wukovich, speech language therapist.
I am Renee Wazovich. I'm the speech language pathologist department leader. Typically, I'm known as Ms. Waz. As speech language pathologist, I want you to know that the Gates Child Eye department is robust and strong. We have 18 speech pathologists that serve kindergarten all the way up through the end of high school. Our role is to support communication, language, and literacy in the classroom. We provide services to prevent speech-language delays through intervention. We also provide direct therapy, either one-on-one, small group, in the classroom or outside the classroom. We provide tiered support services, ensuring that our services are equitable to all students, that they can access our services, whether it's a short-term problem or if they just need a little extra help. We are big collaborators. Collaboration is at the heart of what we do. We collaborate with all the teachers, staff, and parents. And why it matters is because communication is foundational for learning literacy, and social emotional. Thank you. And I'm going to pass it off to Pam DeMarsico for PTOT. Sorry, I'm losing my voice on top of it.
Okay, yeah, so our occupational therapists provide tier support. Tiered support, if we look at tier 1 support, that's going to be for all students. So for tier 1, they would do things like providing alternative seating. So maybe the kid needs a cube chair or a wobble stool or possibly a raised desk to stand at. All things that will help them to stay regulated within the classroom. Another tier 1 support that our OTs will provide is a sensory walk. We have a lot of those in some of our elementary buildings. It's available to all students. It helps all the kids then to, when they're moving throughout the building, to help regulate their bodies. All the way to like a tier 3 support. That picture right there, that's the Walt Disney sensory room. That's a tier 3 support because those students that go there are going to get a student-specific sensory diet created by their occupational therapist, and that occupational therapist oversees that whole thing. Other tier 3 supports are going to be direct OT intervention, and they're going to work on fine motor skills, handwriting, organizational skills, visual motor, lots of things that kind of feed into executive functioning as well within the academic setting. A lot of our direct intervention for our OT happens at the elementary buildings. And what the hope is that when they go to the secondary, we've kind of closed some of those gaps. And then when they get to the secondary level, we're going to reach out. Say a student still has handwriting in 6th grade that's illegible, or maybe they cannot keep up with their peers. That's when we're going to collaborate and we're going to consult with assistive tech and reach out and still meet those students' needs and help them to be successful in the school. I got to figure this thing out. Okay, and then physical therapists, we also provide tiered support. Tier 1 for a physical therapist, you see right there is a picture of one of those. I was able to get a grant through our Education Foundation, and that's what I wanted to do was target tier 1 physical literacy. So in that active sidewalk at Neil Armstrong, there's a lot of midline crossing, motor planning, strengthening, but it's again available to all students, so that makes it tier 1, and it just helps them to develop all the gross motor skills they need to be successful. Another tier 1 support from a physical therapist would be maybe movement breaks in the classroom. We have created as our department over 20 brain gym videos, which focuses on bilateral coordination and then getting the brain and the body to be ready to learn. A tier 3 support example for physical therapy would be direct PT services. And we're going to work on improving strength, balance, coordination, motor planning, body awareness, all those things to make those kids successful. We want to make sure, can they get on and off the bus? Maybe not independently, but can they do that? Can they get their lunch tray by themselves? Can they get out of the building in an emergency? So then in those instances where we have some mobility issues, we're going to really collaborate with our nursing partners to create maybe a health plan, so you have an emergency exit plan, or maybe you're going to make sure that you know what to do with that student for a field trip. We want to make sure that these kids feel included and that they can do it, and we don't want it to feel like a second thought, so it's so important for us to make sure those things and those plans are in place. Again, just like the OTs, most of our direct services are at the elementary level. And again, we're hoping by the time they get to the secondary level, we've closed some of those gaps. And then hopefully we can either accommodate, if there's still significant gross motor delays or if there are significant mobility issues, we maybe will offer them adaptive phys ed. So again, allowing them to participate successfully, more independently, and happily. Now I think I'm going to pass it on to Danielle Latore. And there's nothing there. I'm sorry.
Thanks, Pam. All right, so the collective, why does it matter? As you can hear, this group of professionals behind me, they provide a number of services for a diverse student population and needs. They are definitely preventing challenges and addressing any kind of areas that our students have needs in. They are collaborating continually to provide an inclusive environment for our students. And everything that they do helps to build that equitable environment for our students. So our students are learning in a supportive environment. They are learning, growing, thriving. They also help remove those barriers for attendance. They engage our students in their learning, and they also help engage their families in their children's education. Our mental health team makes sure that they're supporting mental health so our students have a solid foundation for learning and growing, and that they're working towards their goals as they're working towards graduation requirements. Now I am going to pass it off to Jason.
All right, so at our last Board of Education meeting, the Office of Instruction highlighted the importance of increase in our graduation rate, and it's certainly the result of improved academic practices and the increased rigor throughout the district. But it's also a reflection on the tailored supports provided to students with and without disabilities through related services and special education. Our related service providers are counselors, caseworkers and social workers, school psychologists, speech language pathologists, occupational and physical therapists, along with our special education teams, work every day to meet the unique needs of our learners. Their tireless efforts remove barriers, foster resilience, and ensure that every student has equitable access to learning throughout the district. These gains remind us that academic achievement is strengthened when we also attend to social, emotional, communication, and developmental needs. By providing the right supports at the right time, we help more students remain engaged, experience success, and ultimately reach their full potential. And with that, I'll open it up to any questions you might have.
Anyone have any questions? No questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We appreciate you all. That brings us to our student ex officio report.
Hi, I'm Keandre, the board officio. I just wanted to take a moment to recognize the start of the school year. We have a new parking lot for the seniors now and a new traffic pattern in the school. So instead of parking near the pack, they're now parking near instead of parking near the gym, they're now parking near the pack, and traffic is running more smoothly around that area and better in and out of school every morning. The next thing I wanted to talk about was cell phones. I've seen a lot more talking between students during school, especially during lunch or in the hallways. I can't lie, me personally, sometimes I have been, oh, where's my phone? But then I realize that it's not really like a necessity that I need. And then also it's easier for teachers. There's a lot less classroom issues in general, and students are learning a lot better. I feel I'm learning a lot better and less disruptions in classes. Some upcoming events that we have our senior sunrise, which is this Friday, and then we have our homecoming week, which consists of the game, and we're bringing back a homecoming parade and a homecoming dance. So those are some exciting things happening. We also have a fall drama happening, and this week on Thursday we have a college fair outside of Mr. Hamill's office, and we have an HBCU expo at Blue Cross Arena, and we have an Alfred State College trip. Counselors have been in and out of senior classrooms for the past 2 weeks talking about our new website called Schoollinks, which replaced Naviance, helps students apply for colleges and get teacher recommendations. And then we'll be looking to connect with the middle school for future updates on the middle school.
Good job. Well done.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Keandre. So now we will ask for a motion to approve the consensus agenda. Can I have a motion? Ms. Davis, Ms. Littlewood, comments or questions? All in favor? Your vote is unanimous. Can we now have a motion to approve the consensus items C through J? Motion, please. Ms. Manchella, Mr. Long, comments or questions? All in favor? The vote is unanimous. That moves us to our action items. May I have a motion to approve the purchase agreement with Monroe 2 Orleans BOCES for copiers and printers to be placed at the following location at Gates Charli High School? May I have a motion, please? Ms. Jennings, Mr. Reinhardt, comments or questions? All in favor? The vote is unanimous. Next, can we have a motion to approve the purchase agreement with Monroe 2 Orleans BOCES for copies and printers to be placed at the following location, the Operations Center? Can I have a motion, please? Ms. Manchella? Ms. Jennings? Comments or questions? All in favor? Vote is unanimous. Next, can we have a motion to approve the extra classroom activity funds, fourth quarter, and final financial reports for the year ended June 30th, 2025? Can I have a motion, please? Ms. Davis? Mr. Long? Comments or questions? All in favor? Vote is unanimous. Next, can I have a motion to approve the preschool lease agreement between Gates Charles Central School District and Monroe 2 Orleans BOCES regarding space being utilized by Monroe 2 Orleans BOCES for a preschool classroom at Neil Armstrong Elementary School for the 2025-2026 school year? Can I have a motion, please? Mr. Reinhardt, Ms. Manchella, comments or questions? All in favor? The vote is unanimous. And that brings us to superintendent comments.
Tomorrow, we have our first half day of the school year. This is our first of 2 data days for staff. When students head home early, faculty members will spend the afternoon looking at and assessing our student data, helping them better support specific student learning needs. As referenced to earlier, last week, the high school held their annual open house where families had the chance to walk through the building and meet teachers. Next, it's the middle school's turn. Meet the Teachers Night for 6th graders is happening right now. Meanwhile, families of students in grades 7 through 8 will have a chance to meet teachers next Tuesday, September 30th. Then elementary schools will host their open houses on Wednesday and Thursday. Thank you to all the families who have come out so far and those who plan to take part in the coming days. Some of you were referencing earlier, sometimes there's a chill out, sometimes it's humid, sometimes you feel like you have the flu. Well, we're going to prevent that because next week we are also hosting a flu clinic for our staff. Any staff members interested in getting a flu shot can go to the Operations Center on Thursday, October 2nd from 3 to 5 p.m. Bring your insurance card, and don't worry, there will be treats there too in case you need to recover. District office main entrance, door 73 is still closed for a few more weeks while crews install a new canopy. You'll appreciate this winter when the snow doesn't come off the roof and hit you. This work was delayed earlier in the capital project and requires concrete to be poured and cured before completion. During this time, visitors to the district office for interviews, student registration, or meetings should park in Lot G or Lot E and use High School Door 1 to enter the building. In addition, the district office parking lot will be closed on the weekend of October 10th to blacktop and stripe. This work is weather permitting, and we'll keep you posted. And last, as we shared at the end of August, we are planning to celebrate Gates Charlie's homecoming in a big way this year with the return of the homecoming parade and dance. The parade will take place on Friday, October 17th before the varsity football game. Look out for more details next week in our district e-newsletter. That is my report, Vice President.
Thank you so much. And at that point, I will ask for a motion to adjourn the meeting. Mr. Long, Ms. Littlewood, any comments or questions? All in favor? So fast, Ms. Littlewood. Meeting adjourned.